The Menopause Journey, Part 2. How I beat the odds and menopause symptoms for good. I'll never forget the big day that changed my life forever. Dressed in a gown with my 3 wonderful kids, an incredible husband at my bedside, the last thing I remember is getting admitted for surgery to remove my damaged and faulty uterus and ovaries. Luckily, everything went fine, and I was lucky enough to walk out of the hospital with nothing but a few puncture wounds from a state-of-the-art surgery. But that's not the end of the story. In the weeks following my procedure, I noticed some weird changes to my body. I finally understood what my mother said about hot flashes. I was completely uninterested in intimacy. My whole body felt fat, inflated and bloated. I felt like all of my energy was stolen from me, like a thief in the night. At first, I thought these were just side effects from the surgery. But when these symptoms stretched from days to weeks, that's when I knew something was horribly wrong. Quote ellipsis. Remember, surgical menopause is immediate. Like any level-headed women, I weighed all the options with my doctor, regarding the treatments that I could try to free myself from the chains of these new symptoms. I had eliminated a flood of perimenopausal symptoms, only to be thrust into surgical menopause. I wanted to have my cake and eat it, too. I loved being free from the perimenopause problems, but I wanted to be free of the menopausal symptoms, too. I was still in my 30s, and refused to take, that's part of menopause, lying down. Especially since I knew it doesn't have to be. Sound familiar? I left the doctor's office dissatisfied, and returned to my research like a woman afire. Anymore, I use the internet as the go-to place for most of my research. Sadly, most of the information I found was completely bogus. Worst of all, these websites repeated the same old info over and over, and over, again. Maybe you've seen these sites that recommend treatments, and remedies that simply don't work. Eventually, I found something that did work, which I'm about to reveal to you. But that was after trying the usual suspects of cookie-cutter treatments most women try. Soy. I started adding soy to everything that I ate. Tofu burgers, soy bacon and soybean salad. It got the point where I was eating more tofu than a dreadlocked hippie. Unfortunately, soy didn't make a dent in my hot flashes, or my other symptoms of menopause, until I figured out how I was supposed to have been using this plant. My guide shows you how to use soy to find relief. Hormone replacement therapy. Did you know this is the most common treatment for menopause? Surprisingly, hormone replacement therapy only works about 5% of the time. Not to mention that the American Heart Association has found that HRT significantly increases risk breast cancer. The World Health Organization published studies that show an increased risk of at least 50%. Prescription drugs. My doctor prescribed me a laundry list of drugs to help me sleep better and keep hot flashes at bay. All these drugs did was run up my medical bills and make me even more tired and grouchy than before. I was tired, mad and fed up. Eventually, I decided to stop relying on doctors, and took menopause head-on. Lucky for me, I spent 5 years as a medical researcher at a top university, so I knew how to do my homework. And what I found blew my socks off. Here are some of the amazing things I uncovered about menopause. Thousands of women just like you have stopped menopause symptoms, so they can love the change, with proven, 100% natural treatments. Hundreds of research studies have found that the current barrage of medical treatments simply don't work. Hormone replacement therapy, also known as menopause hormone therapy, is risky business that wreaks havoc on your liver, heart, gallbladder and immune system. You don't need to cure menopause because it is a natural process, and a transition that every woman goes through, but you can put a stop to the symptoms that get in the way of a healthy, happy life. Stay tuned for the Menopause Journey, Part 3.